Hello everyone. I'm really sorry for the delay. A bit of technical error. Good evening Vaishali. Good evening Uvasri. Good evening Abu. Good evening Aisha. Am I audible? Please let me know so that I can start the session. Yes guys, please somebody ping me so that I can start the session. Good evening Smita. Yes, please somebody ping me if I'm audible. Okay, thanks a lot. So let's get started. Hello everyone. Welcome to Unacademy, India's largest online learning platform. Let's crack UPSC CSC English. Now, before I start with the topic of arrival of Europeans and Governor General Part 3, this is the end of Europeans and the Governor General. Today would be the last session on the Europeans and the Governor General. So, before I start with this topic, let me introduce myself. My name is Alok Oja. I have done my engineering from Pune. I have been associated with the field of UPSC since past 6 to 6.5 years. I have been through various stages of civil services exam. I hold the experience of giving CDS SSB twice. I also hold the experience of exams like CAPF Assistant Commandant and Uttar Pradesh PSC. I'm involved into the field of teaching since past 4 to 4.5 years, and I've mentored more than 10,000 students for UPSC. Now, briefly about the platform. Now, there might be a question in the mind of an aspirant why one should prefer Unacademy as a platform for online learning. So, here are the ample of reasons why one should prefer Unacademy as a platform for online learning. First of all, you'll have daily live classes on the Unacademy platform. Unacademy offers you assimilation of top and dynamic educators of India on a single platform. You can directly interact with the educators, you can clear any sorts of doubt with the educator. Second most important aspect is Unacademy offers you live tests and quizzes. Now, why live tests and quizzes are important? Because it helps to build up the competence or the competitiveness of an what we say aspirant. Now, why competence or what we say competitiveness is important? Because aspirant is not only competing with a fellow aspirant on the basis of a district, he is competing on pan India level. So at that point of time, he needs to develop that sort of competitiveness or competence. So live test and quizzes helps to develop that sort of competence. Third most important aspect, all the courses on the Unacademy platform are highly structured in nature and there is a proper timetable through which the courses are being conducted. And one can have unlimited access to the courses on Unacademy platform. These are the few top and dynamic educators of India from whom you're going to learn through. These are the courses being offered on the Unacademy platform. Subscribe to Unacademy and use my code AKOUS. I repeat the code AKOUS. Now, there is something also called as iconic subscription. Let me explain this iconic subscription within few seconds. Now, you're preparing for civil services. Now, you might have questions like what resources should I prefer? What material should I use? How much time should I dedicate to a particular subject? What should I go for the should I go for the government magazine? And what all things I need to prepare for the current affairs. So there would be a mentor who would be guiding you throughout all the preparation or throughout your journey of preparation for civil services. In very, very simple words, iconic subscription is basically about the mentor. For example, if you choose me as your mentor for your preparation for civil services, I would be guiding you for your preparation. Like basically what resources needs to be used, how much time needs to be dedicated to a particular subject, what is the importance of answer writing, why answer writing should be given a preference on daily basis, getting the points clear, what should be the pattern for essay writing. So I would be guiding you guys for that thing, which will make your preparation quite holistic as well as simple. Okay, please subscribe to Unacademy and use my code AKOUS. I repeat the code AKOUS. Now let's get started, guys. Good evening, Sarfaraz. Good evening, Ram Kumar. Good evening, Vetikutti. Okay. Now, till so far, we have seen a lot many governor generals. Like we have seen about Warren Hastings. Then we have seen about Warren Hastings. We have seen about Lord Cornwallis. We have seen about Lord Wellesley, Lord Minto I, Sir George Barlow. Getting the points clear. Now we have already discussed about what type of questions can be asked in the prelims exam. So I've already told you about that. What sort of questions can be asked in the prelims exam? Like a very simple question that Press Censorship Act 1799 was introduced by which Governor General? So it was introduced by Lord Wellesley. And this act was abolished by whom? It was abolished by Lord Hastings. My friends, please mind my words. Warren Hastings and Hastings are two different entities. They are not the same. Okay? Then, Rohilla War occurred during the tenure of which Governor General? So, Rohilla War occurred during the tenure of Warren Hastings. Who was the first Governor General of Bengal? The first Governor General of Bengal was Warren Hastings. And who was the first Governor General of India? It was Lord William Bentinck. Now, I'll repeat that point again, my friends. At that time, basically, there were three major presidencies. Okay? Bombay Presidency, Bengal Presidency, and Madras Presidency. And all the three presidencies had their respective governor. For example, the governor of Bombay Presidency was Governor of Bombay, Governor of Madras Presidency was Governor of Madras, and the Governor of Bengal was designated as Governor General of Bengal. And the presidencies of Bombay and Madras were subordinated to the presidency of Bengal. In very simple language, the governors of Bombay and Madras had to report to the Governor General of Bengal. And in the coming years, the Governor General of Bengal was designated as Governor General of India and Viceroy of India. Got the points clear? So these sorts of questions can be asked in the exam. Like permanent settlement or zamindari system of revenue collection came during the tenure of which Governor General? So it came during the tenure of Lord Cornwallis. Which among the following Governor General is also referred as blue-blooded aristocrat? So it is Lord Cornwallis. Why he is referred as blue-blooded aristocrat? Because he belonged to the noble family. He belonged to the royal family. That is why he was referred as blue-blooded aristocrat. Then, which among the following governors down the foundation of Indianization of public services? Like if you remember, I have discussed Lord Cornwallis and I have discussed Lord William Bentinck. Now in Lord Cornwallis, I have told you one thing, that for company service, he started a process. He started an examination. But only Europeans can appear in that exam. But Lord William Bentinck allowed Indians also to appear into the company service, to appear into the exam. Getting the points clear? So we have seen a governor general till now. Today we are going to end up with the governor generals. And the governor generals that I am going to discuss today are the most important ones. Getting the points clear? Okay. Good evening, Shashank. Good evening, Prabhakar. Good evening, Satya. Yes, Nitesh, the timing would be 7 o'clock. Usually I conduct my classes at 7 o'clock in the evening. Okay, Nitesh? Now, let me discuss about Lord Metcalfe. Now, Lord Metcalfe is also referred as liberator of press in India. For example, there was a governor general previously whose name was Wellesley. Now, Wellesley had imposed all sorts of restriction on the press, specifically against the French. Why? Because both France and what we say Britain, both were trading with India, and French were publishing something derogatory against the Britishers. And basically, this was against the trading interest of the Britishers. Getting the points clear? So at that time, Lord Wellesley came up with a new act that was called as Press Censorship Act 1799. So, as per this act, Britain had the power, or English East India had the power, English East India Company had the power to suppress the press. Getting the points clear? Nobody can write anything derogatory which is against the Britishers. Also, the points are clear. But later on, there were many governor generals like Hastings. There was another governor general like Lord Metcalfe. They believed in one thing: press is the medium, or it is an interaction, or it is a channel of interaction between the governed and the government. For example, we come to know about the policy of government through media. Government come to know about the plight of the people through media. That is why media or the press is referred as fourth pillar of the democracy. Isn't that so? So, as per Metcalfe, media or the press should be given complete authority and freedom to publish whatever they feel like, so that the governed can know about the government and the government can know about the governed. Getting the points clear? He believed in complete freedom of speech and expression. That is why Sir Charles Metcalfe is also referred as liberator of press in India. Okay? This is the only thing that you need to remember about Sir Charles Metcalfe. I repeat the point, this is the only thing that you need to remember about him. Time and again, there has been a question in the UPSC prelims exam: which following Governor General was referred as liberator of press in India? So it was Sir Charles Metcalfe. Getting the points clear? Okay. Now let's come up with Lord Auckland, a very important one. Getting the points clear? So is what we say Sir Charles Metcalfe is clear, so that I can move further with Lord Auckland? Yes, please somebody ping me if it is clear. Yes, Abu, the classes is usually conducted on the daily basis. Okay. Yes, please somebody ping me so that I can move further. Okay, thank you. Now let us understand about Lord Auckland. Now, the tenure of Lord Auckland witnessed the first Anglo-Afghan war. Now, what is Anglo-Afghan war all about? Let us understand this. And this is very, very important from exam perspective. Please try and understand this. Okay. Now, listen to me very carefully. Now, there was a Durrani Empire which was founded in the region of Afghanistan by Ahmad Shah Abdali. Now, there was another contender for that throne. Getting the points clear? And the contender for the throne was Dost Muhammad. Dost Muhammad dethroned Ahmad Shah Abdali and became the emperor of Durrani Empire. Okay? Durrani Empire was founded in the region of Afghanistan and it was founded by Ahmad Shah Abdali. Okay? Now there was another contender to that throne whose name was Dost Muhammad. Dost Muhammad wanted to acquire that throne and become the emperor. So Dost Muhammad dethroned Ahmad Shah Abdali and then conquered, or he became the emperor of Durrani dynasty. Okay? Now, it is said that this person, Dost Muhammad, wanted to acquire certain region of Kashmir and Peshawar. I repeat, he wanted to acquire certain region of Kashmir and Peshawar. But if you remember in the yesterday session, I had told you, Treaty of Amritsar was signed between English East India Company and Maharaja Ranjit Singh. If you remember that treaty, and in that treaty, I had told you, Britishers had given the complete freedom and the authority to English East India Company, sorry, to Maharaja Ranjit Singh, that you can acquire the region of Kashmir and Peshawar. We do not have any problem with that. Getting the points clear? So the region of Kashmir and Peshawar was with the Maharaja Ranjit Singh. In very simple words, it was with the Sikh Empire. Okay? And now Dost Muhammad wanted to acquire the region of Peshawar. So he tried and attacked the what we say region of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, but he was unsuccessful. So now, basically, it is said that this person realized, getting the point clear, Dost Muhammad realized that until and unless he is going to get any sort of help from the English East India Company or Lord Auckland, he won't be able to acquire the region of Peshawar. Getting the point clear, until and unless this person is going to get any sort of help, he is not going to defeat the Sikh. He won't be able to defeat the Sikh. So Dost Muhammad approached Lord Auckland. And as I've already told you, there was already a treaty being signed between Maharaja Ranjit Singh and English East India Company. So Maharaja Ranjit Singh and English East India Company now had become friends. Getting the points clear? So Lord Auckland came to, this Dost Muhammad came to Lord Auckland and told him that break the friendship with the Sikh, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, and help me in acquiring the region of Peshawar. Okay? This offer was given by Dost Muhammad to Lord Auckland. Did you understand the story till here? Now, other part of the story says that basically Dost Muhammad was a very good friend of Russia, and Russia was also following the policy of imperialism and colonialism. It had the vision to conquer India. Okay? And Russia was an enemy of what we say Britain. Getting the points clear? So, very simple words. Listen to me very carefully. Like how Dost Muhammad said to Lord Auckland that you break the friendship with Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Similarly, Lord Auckland said to this person, Dost Muhammad, you break the friendship with Russia. But Dost Muhammad denied that. I'm not going to break this friendship with Russia. Okay? Now, what all things happened? This was told to Maharaja Ranjit Singh by Lord Auckland. Okay? Now, Lord Auckland and Maharaja Ranjit Singh decided that now they are going to find a puppet in the region of Afghanistan. Getting the points clear? This puppet, like as I've told you, the Durrani Empire was founded by Ahmad Shah Abdali. But there was another contender to the throne in the form of Dost Muhammad. Similarly, there was also another contender to Dost Muhammad, and it was Shuja Shah. Getting the points clear? So Britishers and the Sikh decided that we are going to place a puppet in Afghanistan. Getting the points clear? Although that person would be ruling in Afghanistan, but indirectly we are going to control the internal affairs of Afghanistan by placing that person on that throne. Okay? So now Lord Auckland, then Shuja Shah, the puppet that they found, and Maharaja Ranjit Singh entered into a tri-party agreement. And as per this agreement, getting the points clear, nobody is going to help each other's enemy. Getting the points clear? Now, Dost Muhammad came to know about this agreement and he was very enraged. He became very angry, and Dost Muhammad attacked the English East India Company or the group of the group of three. Getting the points clear? In this battle, basically, this is referred as First Anglo-Afghan War. In this battle, this person, Dost Muhammad, lost, and he was taken as a prisoner and brought to India. And Shuja Shah was what we say, like I said, that Shuja Shah was placed on the throne of Durrani Empire. But there was outbreak of civil rebellion in the region of Afghanistan. So Dost Muhammad had to be released. This event is called as First Anglo-Afghan War. Getting the points clear? And this occurred during the tenure of one of the governor generals whose name was Lord Auckland. Got the points clear? Hope so the points are clear. Now there was also a death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh during this time, and it is said that basically he was one of the most unsuccessful governor generals of India. Why unsuccessful governor general? First of all, there was no point in interfering with the internal dynamics and the politics of Afghanistan. Getting the points clear? Because, in simple words, they had to face reverses from that region. Getting the points clear? And there was loss of men and material both. That is why this person was referred as one of the unsuccessful governor generals of India. Hope so the story is clear, my friend. In very simple words, First Anglo-Afghan War occurred during the tenure of Lord Auckland. Did you understand the story, or would you like me to repeat the story? Yes, please. Somebody ping me. Okay, please somebody ping me. Did you understand, guys? Okay. I'll repeat again in short. Please listen to me very carefully. Now, Durrani Empire was founded in Afghanistan. I'll repeat it very fast. Durrani Empire was founded in Afghanistan, and it was founded by Ahmad Shah Abdali. Okay. Now there was another contender to that throne, and he was Dost Muhammad. Now Dost Muhammad dethroned the founder of Durrani Empire, that is Ahmad Shah Abdali, and now he became the emperor. Okay. Now Dost Muhammad wanted to acquire the region of Peshawar, which was in the hand of Sikh, but Sikh were friend of English East India Company. So Dost Muhammad approached Lord Auckland of English East India Company and told them that please help us against the Sikh. But I have already told you, Lord Auckland or the English East India Company were very good friend of the Sikh. So they decided that they are not going to help out what we say Dost Muhammad. In fact, Lord Auckland told Dost Muhammad that you are a friend of Russia, break the friendship with Russia. Why? Because Britain and Russia were enemies. Getting the points clear? So basically, he told that break the friendship with Russia. But this was not acceptable to what we say Dost Muhammad. Getting the points clear? Now there was a tri-party agreement signed between three people: Lord Auckland, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, and Shuja Shah. Getting the points clear? Now this agreement was known to what we say Dost Muhammad, and now Dost Muhammad planned an attack against them. In this battle, Dost Muhammad, what we say, lost it, and he was taken into prison. Getting the points clear? Then now he was brought to Calcutta, and he was imprisoned. When he was imprisoned, there was an outbreak of civil rebellion in the region of Afghanistan. So he had to be released. Now there was also death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh during this tenure. Getting the points clear? So this is all about First Anglo-Afghan War, which occurred during the tenure of Lord Auckland. Got the points now? See, Satya, certain resources says that like this person, Maharaja Ranjit Singh died naturally. But few resources said that he died, what we say, in the battle with the Afghans. Getting the points clear? Majorly, you should understand that he died a natural death. Okay? Did you understand about this person? Lord Auckland, please let me know so that I can move up with the next personality. That is Lord Ellenborough. Okay, next personality, next story. Yes, Aisha. Like if you remember about, I have told you that Dost Muhammad was contender to the throne, which was founded by Ahmad Shah Abdali. So he replaced Ahmad Shah Abdali and he sat on the throne of Durrani Empire. Now there was another contender of Dost Muhammad, and it was Shuja Shah. Getting the points clear? Hope so, Aisha, I have answered your question. Yes, Satya, Maharaja Ranjit Singh also supported the Britishers in Anglo-Afghan War. Okay? Hope so, I have answered your question, guys. Okay? Now, let's move with the next Governor General, Lord Ellenborough. Now, listen to me very carefully. Khateu, I'll repeat the points again in short in the end. Okay, Khateu? Because I have repeated this twice or thrice till now. So I'll repeat again in the end. Okay. Now let's move on with the next Governor General, whose name is Lord Ellenborough. Now listen to me very carefully. Now Lord Auckland was recalled to his country because he was one of the most unsuccessful Governor General. Now the condition in the entire Asian region was quite chaotic in nature. So Lord Ellenborough was sent basically to Asia and specifically to India to restore the peace in entire Asia. Getting the points clear? But his entire tenure was occupied in the war, and one of the major part was annexation of Sindh. Now listen to me very carefully. Initially, when Britishers came to India, okay, initially when Britishers came to India, they had a vision of establishing factories at various places in India. So they had established factories on the east coast and the west coast of India. Okay. So on the west coast of India, they had a major factory in the form of Surat. Please listen to me very carefully. It is a very important concept. They had established a factory at Surat on the west coast of India. Now they also had the vision to establish another factory at a place called as Sindh. Getting the points clear? Sindh is nothing but the present day region of southern part of Pakistan. So they also had the vision to establish a factory there. Getting the points clear? But now the plan was postponed because they thought that rather than investing huge amount of money in establishing factory at Sindh, we already have one factory on the west coast, and that is enough for our trading. Getting the points clear? But they entered into treaty with the Sindh. Getting the points clear? They entered into a treaty with Sindh, and that is referred as Treaty of Eternal Friendship. And this treaty was signed during the time of Lord Minto. Getting the points clear? They signed a treaty with the Sindh. They're like basically the people of the Sindh are called as Baluchis, and Amirs were ruling over this region. Getting the points clear? So there was a treaty here being signed, and this treaty is about a mutual friendship. This treaty was again renewed after few years. Getting the points clear? Now, Britishers had gained the trust of Amirs of Sindh. Now, as I've already told you in the very first lecture itself, Britisher always played two policies, that is divide and rule and carrot and stick policy. Getting the points clear? So now Britishers played one game here. Rather than always renewing the treaty, rather than always entering into the friendship, once and all will conquer the region of Sindh. But Sindh was completely unaware about these things. Sindh was very peacefully maintaining the treaty. It was following the clauses and the terms and conditions of the treaty. In fact, it is said that Sindh did not maintain friendship with any other European power. Why? Because they believe that we have a very good friend in the form of Britain. Getting the points clear? So they did not maintain friendship with any other European power. They had such a blind trust basically on the Britain. But Britain was not worthy for that trust. Getting the points clear? Now, a new governor or new what we say a commander in chief of the army was appointed in the Bombay presidency, and his name was Sir Charles Napier. Now, Sir Charles Napier suggested Lord Ellenborough that rather than every time renewing the treaty, we will conquer the region of Sindh once and all. Getting the points clear? So now 3,000 British soldiers under the command of Sir Charles Napier entered into Sindh and defeated 12,000 what we say Baluchi soldiers. And basically Napier sent a one word telegram to Ellenborough from Sindh, and that telegram was Pekawi. He just said one word, Pekawi. Pekawi is a Latin word which simply means that I have occupied Sindh, or Pekawi simply means victory. Getting the points clear? Now this conquer, this whatever the Sir Charles Napier and Lord Ellenborough had done to Sindh, it was highly unjustified and it was highly criticized in the entire world. Why? This showed the policy of brutal imperialism that was followed by Britishers. Britishers were trying to acquire new and new places, exploit the people and the resources of that places. Britishers were playing a mud-sledging game of colonialism. This was exemplified by the annexation of Sindh. Second major thing. Now, Amirs had done nothing wrong. They were peacefully maintaining or they were following the terms and condition and the clauses of the treaty. But still, in the name of imperialism, you had conquered the region of Sindh. There was hardly any mistake of the Baluchis or the people of the Sindh. Third most important aspect, what did they told now? Britishers actually wanted to contain the region, they wanted to contain the Russian threat, and they also wanted to contain the French threat to an extent. So they conquered Sindh because they can easily have a watch on Russia and the France to fulfill their own personal aspiration. Getting the points clear? To fulfill their own basically colonial policies, they conquered the region of Sindh. Getting the points clear? And one more major aspect, they also said that I have talked about the first Anglo-Afghan war. Now they criticized basically whom? They criticized that basically Baluchis of the Sindh were conspiring with the Afghan against the English East India Company in the first Anglo-Afghan war. That is why we have conquered the region of Sindh. This was a false accusation. Getting the points clear? So one of the major events that occurred during the tenure of Lord Ellenborough was annexation of Sindh. Hope so the points are clear, my friends. Please let me know. Is the story clear? Yes, please, somebody let me know. Is it clear, Lord Ellenborough? Please, somebody let me know. Okay, thank you, Abu. Now let's move on with the other important Governor General, that is Lord Hardinge. Okay. Now, first Anglo-Sikh War and Treaty of Lahore occurred during the tenure of Lord Hardinge. Okay. Now listen to me very, very carefully. I'll go into a bit of background about Treaty of Amritsar. Please listen to me carefully so that the Lahore Treaty would be clear to you. There was in the question of mains as well as there was a question in the prelims about the Lahore Treaty. Getting the points clear? So please pay attention carefully. Lahore Treaty occurred during the tenure of Lord Hardinge. And what is Lahore Treaty all about? Let us understand in very, very simple words. Now, prior to what we say Lahore Treaty, there was one more treaty signed between English East India Company and Maharaja Ranjit Singh. And that treaty was Treaty of Amritsar. Now listen to me. As per that treaty, the northern part of the river Satluj, the territories to the northern part of the river Satluj would be Sikh territory. And the territories to the southern part of river Satluj would be British territories. And nobody is going to encroach in each other's territory. Now, Britishers are not going to move towards the northern part of the Satluj, and Sikh are not going to move towards the southern part of Satluj. Getting the points clear? This was as per the part of Amritsar Treaty. Now, one more thing was there. In the Sikh court, there would be one English officer or one British officer who would be placed. And Major Broad was an officer who was what we say stationed in the court of the Sikh, so that good relations and diplomatic relations could be maintained between the English East India Company and the Sikh Empire. Now it was observed by Major Broad that after death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, slowly and in a very gradual manner, these people Sikh have started moving towards southern part of Satluj River, and they have started fortifying the northern part of Satluj River. Getting the points clear? Now, Major Broad was quite suspicious about the intentions of the Sikh. Getting the points clear? Sikh Empire was basically moving towards the southern part of Satluj River. Now, Major Broad became quite suspicious about the activities of the Sikh Empire. Now, Major Broad decided basically to know what is happening in the Sikh Empire. Till the time he could inform the English East India Company about this, there was a sudden attack by the Sikh Empire on the forces of English East India Company. And now there was a fierce battle fought between the English East India Company, which was headed by Governor General Lord Hardinge, and the Sikh Empire. And in this, the Sikh Empire lost the battle and English became victorious. And there was a treaty signed between the English East India Company, which was represented by Lord Hardinge, and Maharaja Duleep Singh, the son of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, because Maharaja Ranjit Singh had already died. So he was succeeded by his small son, who was just 7 years old. Getting the points clear? So a treaty was signed between both of them. So now what was the treaty all about? I've already told you. Jammu and Kashmir region, Peshawar region, it was occupied by the Sikh already, as per the Treaty of Amritsar. Now these territories were reoccupied by the Britishers. Secondly, all the territories that were acquired to the south of River Satluj were taken back again by the Britishers. Then 1.5 crore rupees as a war indemnity was paid to the English East India Company by the Sikh rulers. Why? Because English East India Company said that we have suffered losses in men and material, and who is going to pay for that losses? So we are going to accrue that losses from the Sikh Empire. That is why they had to pay a war indemnity of 1.5 crore rupees. Getting the points clear? So a treaty was signed between English East India Company and Maharaja Duleep Singh. Then Sikh lost the region of Jammu and Kashmir. They lost the region of Hazara in Pakistan and Peshawar. Okay, they had to pay a war indemnity of rupees 1.5 crore. Secondly, Sikh cannot have, they can have the army only to a specific limit. They cannot have what we can say that they can not have unlimited number of soldiers or the horses. They need to have minimum and stipulated amount of soldiers and the horses. Maximum number of soldiers that they could recruit was 20,000 soldiers. Okay, and 20,000 cavalrymen, that is 20,000 horses as well. And they cannot enter into any treaty of friendship with any other European power without the consent of the Britishers. In very, very simple words, Lahore Treaty was a loss of independence to the Sikh Empire. Getting the points clear? Now, as per this treaty, there were only three masters of Punjab. One was Maharaja Duleep Singh, who was recognized as the king by the Britishers. Lal Singh was recognized as a wazir by the Britishers. And mother of Maharaja Duleep Singh, Rani Jind Kaur, was recognized as regent. What is regent? Raj Pratinidhi. Getting the points clear? So Britishers recognized only three of them. And another officer was kept at Lahore now. He was Major Henry Lawrence. Please remember the name Major Henry Lawrence. This entire episode in the history of modern India is referred as Lahore Treaty, which occurred during the tenure of Lord Hardinge. Okay. One more important thing. Now, Lord Hardinge suppressed one of the important system called as Maurya system. Listen to me very carefully. Maurya system is a traditional human sacrifice system which is followed by Khond tribe of Chota Nagpur Plateau. Khond tribe is also what we say locally referred as Kui tribe. I repeat, there is a tribe in the Chota Nagpur Plateau region. It is referred as Khond tribe. Khond tribe is locally also, also referred as Kui tribe, and they had a traditional practice of human sacrifice. The terminology for that human sacrifice is Maurya system. I repeat, Maurya system. We are going to look into this system in detail when we are going to study about the socio-religious reform. So this practice was followed by this tribe. So Lord Hardinge completely abolished and banned the what we say practice of human sacrifice. Hope so the points are clear about Lord Hardinge. Yes, Aisha, I would be sharing the what we say Telegram channel. I would be sharing the PDF on the Telegram channel. Abu, Very little role was played by Lord Ellenborough in abolishing slavery. A major role in abolishing slavery was played by Warren Hastings. Hope so, Abu. The point is clear. Yes, Satya. I have told you, listen to me very carefully. In Treaty of Amritsar, the region of Kashmir and Peshawar was given to whom? The Sikh region. Sorry, the Sikh. Getting the points clear. But since the Sikh had initiated the breach of the treaty, so Britishers took that region also from them. Apart from the region that the Sikh had occupied south of the river Satluj, they also took the what we say region of Kashmir and Peshawar as a sort of punishment to the Sikh. Hope so, Satya, I have answered your question. Okay? Yes, please. Lord Harding is clear, my friends. Yes, please let me know. Amia, what is Treaty of Lahore? I have explained this Treaty of Lahore. Treaty of Lahore was signed basically between son of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, that is Maharaja Duleep Singh. Okay? And basically it is said that the Sikh Empire was accused of breaching the Treaty of Amritsar, which was signed previously during the tenure of Lord Minto I. So there was another treaty signed which is referred as Treaty of Lahore. Okay, so as per this treaty, basically, the what we say regions that were acquired by the Sikh Empire to the south of River Satluj were given back to the Britishers. Plus, they had to pay a war indemnity of 1.5 crore rupees. That is, Sikh had to pay 1.5 crore rupees to the Britishers. Then, the region of Kashmir and certain regions of Pakistan were also acquired by the Britishers, which were under the rule of Sikh Empire. So this is majorly referred as Treaty of Lahore. Hope so, Amia, I have cleared your point. See, Satya, basically it can be said that they could have directly acquired the region of. Now, Satya, your point is valid. If they have breached already the Treaty of Amritsar, there is no point in signing another Treaty of Lahore. Getting the points clear? They could have directly acquired that region. But still, one more chance was given for the Sikh. Getting the points clear? And one more thing, Sikh was a major ally of the English East India Company against the Russia, against the French. That is why they did not acquire the entire region of Sikh and they signed another important treaty. Got the points clear, Satya? Okay. Now let's move on with a very, very important Governor General whose name is Lord Dalhousie. A very important one. Now, please let us understand this. Now, his real name is James Andrew Ramsay, and he was the youngest Governor General. Now, it is said that when he assumed the charge, his age was just 36. Getting the point clear? He was just 36 years age when he assumed the charge. Now, 90% of the people know that he started one system called as Doctrine of Lapse. Getting the points clear? That is a very good thing. But very few people know that he started more two system that is called as non-regulation system and guarantee system. These two systems were also started by Lord Dalhousie. Very few people know about this fact. Majorly everybody know that he started doctrine of lapse system. Getting the points clear? Now let us understand these three systems in short. Now he started a non-regulation system. Let us understand this system. Now, if any new territories was acquired, basically, it was added into the three presidency. For example, if any territory was acquired in the eastern part of India, it was added basically into Bengal presidency. If anything was if any new territory was acquired basically from the western part of India, it was added into the Bombay presidency. And if any new territory was acquired in the southern part of India, it was added into Madras presidency. But majorly it was added into Bengal presidency. Since more new territories were added into the Bengal presidency, there was a quite of administrative burden on the Governor General of Bengal. Getting the points clear? So now a new system was started by Lord Dalhousie. And that system is nothing but non-regulation system. What is that system all about? If any new territory was acquired, okay, and if it is added into the Bengal presidency, a commissioner would be appointed for that new territory. And this commissioner would be directly reporting about the administrative affairs to the Governor General of Bengal, that is Lord Dalhousie. Got the points clear? This system, in short, is referred as non-regulation system, and it was started by Lord Dalhousie. I'll repeat the point again. If any new territory was acquired, it would be added into the Bengal presidency. Now, to reduce the administrative burden, a commissioner would be appointed for a newly acquired territory, and that commissioner would be directly reporting to the Governor General of Bengal. Got the points clear? Second major aspect that he started was guarantee system. Now, what is guarantee system all about? Let us understand this. Suppose I am a contractor. Now, English East India Company, please try and understand this. I'm giving you a small example so that you can easily understand this. Okay? Suppose I'm a contractor and English East India Company has given me the contract of constructing railways in India. Okay? Now listen to me very carefully. It has given me the contract of constructing railways in India. Now, every year, getting the point, I would be doing the complete investment in the railways. Not a single money would be invested by the English East India Company in the start. Okay? Now, I would be investing the complete money in the railways. And every year, the Britishers are going to give me 5% interest on that. Whatever investment I have made, every year, English East India Company is going to give me 5% interest on that. And after 20 years or till the contract has been the tenure for the after the end of the contract, for example, if the contract ends after 20 years, the entire money, getting the points clear, would be paid to me, and I would be selling the railways to the English East India Company. Getting the points clear? So here Britishers are giving me a guarantee that at the end of the contract we are going to buy the entire railways from you, and we would be paying you the lump sum money for that. And this is called as guarantee system. And this system was started by Lord Dalhousie. Getting the points clear, my friends? Lord Dalhousie started this system basically for railway companies. Hope so the points are clear. Then another major system started by Lord Dalhousie was doctrine of lapse system. Now, what is doctrine of lapse system all about? Please understand this. Now, if any kingdom or if any ruler does not have a legal male heir, getting the points clear, that kingdom would be directly annexed by the Britishers. Getting the points clear? For example, if I am a ruler, okay, I have my own son, but I have an adopted son. So my kingdom would be directly going to the Britishers. My kingdom would become the part of British territory. Getting the points clear? Hope so the points are clear. So as per this treaty, as per doctrine of lapse, if any ruler does not have a legal male heir, his entire territory would be ceded by the Britishers. Adopted child would not be considered as a legal male heir. Adopted child could only get the personal property of the ruler. He could not get any sort of claim over the territory or claim over the kingdom. Got the points clear? Second most important aspect, there was no system like there would be like to the adopted child, there would be no system of pension. He would not get any sort of pensions from the side of Britishers. Getting the points clear? This system is referred as doctrine of lapse. And this system was started by Lord Dalhousie. In very, very simple language, this was a policy of pro-imperialism. This was the way of expanding the territory and acquiring more and more new kingdoms and territories. Getting the points clear? More than 100 kingdoms were acquired under the doctrine of lapse system, like Satara which is in Maharashtra, Jaipur, which is in a Bundelkhand region of Madhya Pradesh. It is Jaitpur. Okay, Sambalpur in Odisha, Bhagat in Punjab, Udaipur, Jhansi, Awadh, and so on. In fact, it is said that the kingdom of Awadh, or the ruler of Awadh, had a legal male heir, but still the kingdom was annexed. Why? Because they accused Awadh that you are not carrying out the administration properly. There is a maladministration in the region of Awadh, and that is why we are conquering the region of Awadh. Getting the points clear? So hundreds of kingdoms were brought under the fold of the Britisher just in the name of doctrine of lapse. Got the points clear? So these three major systems were started by what we say Lord Dalhousie. The first system was non-regulation system, then was guarantee system, then comes doctrine of lapse. Then now another important findings another important things that occurred during the tenure of Lord Dalhousie were, let us understand, first railway line from Bombay to Thana was started during the tenure of Lord Dalhousie. Getting the points clear? It is a distance of 53 kilometers, and basically there were three locomotives attached to the main engine, and the three locomotives were named as Sultan, Sahib, and Sindh. I repeat, first railway line was started during the tenure of Lord Dalhousie. It was from, yes, he was referred as father of railways, perfect Shweta. So it was started from Bombay to Thane, and it is a distance basically of 53 kilometers to 55 kilometers approximately. Okay, three locomotives were there, and the name of the three locomotives were Sultan, Sahib, and Sindh. Okay, first telegraph line from Calcutta to Agra was laid down during the tenure of Lord Dalhousie. Gurkha regiment came into the force during the time of Lord Dalhousie. Shimla was made as the summer capital of India during the tenure of Lord Dalhousie. At that time, Delhi was not the capital of India. It was Calcutta that was the capital of India. So during the time of Lord Dalhousie, getting the points clear, Shimla was made as the summer capital of India. Getting the points clear? Now, basically, during 1813, listen to me very carefully. Charter Act 1813 was passed. And as per Charter Act 1813, every year British is going to spend 1 million rupees on education. Sorry, 1 lakh rupees for the purpose of education, so that they can educate the Indians and involve Indians in the administrative services. This act was passed in 1833. Now around 1854, 1856, there was something called as Wood's Dispatch. And Wood's Dispatch laid the foundation of English education in India, because it was passed by Sir Charles Wood. Now, there was a phased development of education in India. We are going to study about the development of education in India tomorrow. There is a special lecture for that. How did education system developed in India? Okay. So, basically, there was a phased education development in India. And initially there was two type of controversy, that is Anglicist and Orientalist controversy. Now Orientalists believe that we cannot directly impose English language on the Indians. Initially we should, what we say, educate the Indians in their mother tongue. And with the passage of time, we will start educating the Indians in the English language. This was a theory which was proposed by Orientalist. And second theory was given by Anglicist. Anglicists believe that we are directly going to educate Indians in English language because we require them in running the administration. Getting the points clear? So there was a controversy that which system needs to be adopted. This is referred as Anglicist Orientalist controversy. Getting the points clear? But finally, Sir Charles Wood, he supported the Anglicist point of view. He believed that Indians should be educated in English language. Getting the points clear? What was their purpose basically? Do you know this? Their purpose that they should look by skin and color Indians. Getting the points clear? But by their behavior, by their fooding habits, and by their etiquettes, they should be completely Englishmen. That is why they introduced English education in India. and this was supported by Sir Charles Wood, and this is referred as Wood's Dispatch. Wood's Dispatch is also called as Magna Carta of English education in India, and this all these things occurred during the tenure of Lord Dalhousie. Hope so the points are clear. Then another important things that occurred during the tenure of Lord Dalhousie, let us understand this. Second Anglo-Sikh War occurred during the tenure of Lord Dalhousie. Now let us understand about this. If you remember Amritsar Treaty, after the breach of Amritsar Treaty, Lahore Treaty was signed. Okay? And as per Lahore Treaty, if you remember, Sir Henry Lawrence was posted in the court of what we say Sikh Empire, so that again new relations could be built up, new diplomacy could be started. Getting the points clear? But at this now in the Second Anglo-Sikh War, our entire Sikh kingdom was occupied by the Britishers. Now let us understand this how it happened. Now Sir Henry Lawrence was posted at Lahore Darbar. Now few years later it is said that due to certain disease he had to go back to London, and he brought another lawyer in his place whose name was Sir Frederick Curie. Okay? So when Sir Frederick Curie was in the court at Lahore Darbar, he was checking the accounts once. So when he was checking the accounts, he came to know that there was a local diwan, there was a local ruler whose name was Mool Raj. Mool Raj had not paid taxes for many years. So he sent a message to Mool Raj along with few of his soldiers. Getting the points clear? So when the few soldiers arrived in the fortress of Mool Raj captured them. He imprisoned them. He beat them. He tortured them. And it is said that after a certain time he also killed them. And this was known to basically what we say Frederick Curie. And Sir Frederick Curie immediately informed this to Lord Dalhousie. Lord Dalhousie immediately sent the troops, and entire Punjab or entire the Sikh Empire was annexed. Now all the territories of the Sikh Empire belonged to the British, and it was a part of British territories now. And now basically it is said that Maharaja Dulip Singh, the 7-year-old boy, he was abducted. Then Rani Jind Kaur was imprisoned. Rani Jind Kaur was Raj Pratinidhi or the regent, if you remember. So all these things majorly occurred during the tenure of Lord Dalhousie. Hope so the points are clear, my friends. Yes, Satya. This guarantee system was a very wonderful system to attract investors. Yes, this system can be used again. Did you understand the entire part of Dalhousie, my friends? Please let me know. Yes, please. Yes, Satya. Magna Carta. I'll be explaining the Magna Carta tomorrow again, because tomorrow I'm going to conduct a detailed lecture on education system in India. But I'll still explain that. Now, there were two views regarding introduction of education in India. One view was Orientalist view and the other view was Anglicist view. Orientalists believe that we cannot directly impose English language on the Indians. So rather than educating Indian in the English language, we should educate them in their mother tongue. We should educate them in the vernacular language. But Anglicists believe that we will educate the Indians in the English language, because we have to use them in the administrative process. Getting the points clear? So the English view was supported by Sir Charles Wood, and this is called as Wood's Dispatch, which is called as this laid the foundation of English education in India. So this is called as Magna Carta. Magna Carta means foundation, base of English education in India. Got the points clear, Satya? Hope so I have explained it to you. Shipra, Chilaiwala War to an extent is related to Anglo-Sikh War. I would be speaking about all the wars. There would be a separate what we say class just for wars itself. Okay, Shipra? Okay. Now, what sort of questions can be asked in the prelims exam? That first telegraph line started during the tenure of which Governor General? So it was Lord Dalhousie. Getting the points clear? Samachar Darpan, the first vernacular newspaper, which was in Bengali language, came during the tenure of which Governor General? So it was Lord Hastings. Getting the points clear? So all these now, Rayatwari system of land settlement came during the tenure of whom? So it came during the tenure of Lord Hastings. Also the points are clear. Annexation of Sindh occurred during the tenure of, so it was Lord Ellenborough. The first Governor General of India, it was Lord William Bentinck. Also the points are clear. Guarantee system was introduced by whom? It was introduced by Lord Dalhousie. Doctrine of lapse was introduced by whom? It was introduced by Lord Dalhousie. So this is how the question comes in the prelims exam. Got the points? Yes, Abu, I'll do that. So from the next week, I'll increase the length to 2 hours for sure. Okay. Now listen to me very carefully. Lord Canning was the last Governor General of India and the first Viceroy of India. Because after revolt of 1857, the rule of company in India ended and there was a rule of crown in India. Getting the points clear? After the revolt of 1857, the rule of company in India ended and now there was a rule of British crown in the India. Getting the points clear? Now the possessions of the English East India Company were known as British Indian possessions. Getting the points clear? So basically Lord Canning was the last Viceroy of India and the last Governor General of India and the first Viceroy of India. So when I would be starting the section of Viceroy, I would be starting with Lord Canning. Okay friends? So this is all about the Governor Generals. Hope so the points are clear, my friends. Okay, now let us understand about the French just within 5 minutes. Okay, now initially in the very first session, I've told you basically that there were majorly two mafias, Portugal and Spain. But with the passage of time, there was basically much sledging in the name of colonialism. Various European powers like Portugal, Spain, Dutch, Britain, France, they were continuously following the policy of colonialism and acquiring more and more new territories. Getting the points clear? Now, French East India Company was last to be formed and it was formed by Jean-Baptiste Colbert. Okay? Now, French established their first factory at a place called as Surat and Masulipatam. Okay? And it was established during the time of Francis Caron. Okay, now listen to me very carefully. Now, there was also a factory of English East India Company at Surat. There was also a factory of English East India Company at Masulipatam. So, some or the other day, they are going to fight with each other. Because once, for example, if both of them are trading in the same good, so the monopoly and the profit margin, both are going to subside. Both are going to get hampered. Getting the points clear? That is why some or the other day they are going to fight. And this was nothing but Carnatic War or Anglo-French wars. Getting the points clear? So Jean-Baptiste Colbert was the founder of French East India Company. The first factory was established by Francis Caron at Surat. It was followed by the second factory at Masulipatam. Now, Pondicherry was also acquired from Dutch. Getting the points clear? It was under Francois Marty, and now they had established the settlement on the east coast of India and west coast of India. So, directly or indirectly, they are going to come in contact with the Britishers. And there is going to be war between English East India Company and French East India Company. Okay? Yes, Uvasri, very good, perfect. Widow Remarriage Act of 1856, which was supported by Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, was also passed during the tenure of Lord Dalhousie. Very good, Uvasri. Perfect. Okay. Now coming to Anglo-French War or Carnatic Wars. Now let us understand about the first Carnatic War. Now on Coromandel coast, the basically major trading what we say hub was of France, and French ships were what we say parked basically in the harbor at Coromandel coast. Now basically British fleet arrived and started capturing the French ship. They started attacking the French ship. So the governor of French territories in India was Dupleix. So he requested a local Nawab of Arcot, that is Anwaruddin Khan, to help the French, and he informed completely about the raiding activities of the Britishers. But Anwar Uddin Khan was already bribed by whom? He was bribed by the Britishers. So basically, he did not respond. He said that it's your personal matter and I'm not going to interfere in that. French immediately asked for auxiliary forces or supporting forces from Mauritius. Getting the points clear? And auxiliary forces arrived and they started attacking the British ships now. And now British ships were attacked, and one of the British company servant, Robert Clive, he was imprisoned. Getting the points clear? And since the Robert Clive was imprisoned, basically this news spread like a fire in the Western countries, in the European countries. Now, there was a treaty signed between France and Britain that is called as Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. I'll repeat, that treaty is called as Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. And as per this treaty, basically, the territories of the French would be returning back the territories of the Britain in India. Getting the points clear? Because I have already told you, they were not only fighting in India. France and Britain were not only fighting the game of colonialism in India, they were fighting the game of colonialism in the entire world. Getting the points clear? They were fighting this game in the entire world. So basically it is said that it was decided that French would be returning back the territories to the Britain. And now nobody would be, what we say, encroaching upon each other's territory in their colonies. So this is nothing but First Anglo-French War or First Anglo-Carnatic War. Hope so the point is clear about the First Anglo-French War. Okay. Yes, Abu, I have mentioned about everything about Dalhousie in the slide, about the postal system and the other information. Each and everything about the Dalhousie has been mentioned in the slides. Okay. Now listen to me very carefully. Now, there was a war of succession in the region of Hyderabad and Arcot. Now the position of Hyderabad or the Nizam of Hyderabad's position was vacant. Secondly, the position of the Nawab of Arcot was vacant, and there were major contender for that region. Getting the points clear? Now, French supported one of the Nizam's grandson, whose name was Muzaffar Jung for Hyderabad and Chanda Sahib for Arcot. And now English supported the opponent of Muzaffar Jung for what we say Hyderabad and another opponent basically for Arcot. So in a very simple words, it was a sort of a proxy war. Here directly the French and the British army were not fighting. They were supporting some other who were fighting. Getting the points clear? Are you getting the points clear? There were what we say basically the post of the Nizam of Hyderabad was vacant. Similarly was the Nawab of Arcot. So in what we say Hyderabad, there were two contenders. Getting the points clear? One was Muzaffar Jung and the other was Nasir Jung. Muzaffar Jung was supported by the what we say French, and Nasir Jung was supported by English East India Company. Similarly was a position in Hyderabad. Chanda Sahib was supported by the French. Now wherever the French supported their alliances, at all the places the alliances emerged victorious. In simple words, French emerged victorious. Again, this was a bashing defeat for the English East India Company. Getting the points clear? And again, it was a thing of a shame for Robert Clive. But few days later, Robert Clive became so aggressive and angry that he started attacking the French ships. He started attacking the French territories. Getting the points clear? And Robert Clive by now became a national hero in England. And he was supported for all these activities by the government of Britain. Getting the points clear? And Prime Minister at that time was Pitt. And he gave the title of Heaven Born General to Robert Clive. And finally came Third Anglo-Carnatic War. As per Third Anglo-Carnatic War, there was a fierce fight between the English East India Company and the Britishers. Britishers had captured Chandan in Bengal. Getting the points clear? Specifically, it was captured by Robert Clive and Colonel Watson. Now, to recover Chandan from the English East India Company, another officer, a very well known and a very able officer from the French side came, and he was Comte de Lally. To overcome this person, another officer was again called up, whose name was Eyrecourt. And there was a fierce battle between English East India Company, supported by Eyrecourt, and French East India Company, supported by Comte de Lally. And this is called as Battle of Vandy Wash. And in this battle, it is said that French lost severely. And it is said that all the territories of French were captured. Later, Pondicherry was restored to them, and it was signed a treaty that only French would be what we say staying in the region of Pondicherry, and they would not be interfering with the politics and the administrative affairs of the Britishers. This is called as Third Anglo-Carnatic War or Third Anglo-French War. Hope so the points are clear. We are going to discuss these wars in details again in the few chapters. So basically, French were just confined to the region of Pondicherry, and majorly it was acquired by the English East India Company. Yes, Sarfaraz, they were fighting the war of succession. As I've told, that there was a game of colonialism which was practiced in the entire world. And the mafias were basically rising in the region of Europe. They followed the policy of imperialism, and they wanted to acquire more and more new places. Isn't that so? Like present day, China is following a policy of colonialism. Like Africa, like if you see today, Africa is full of natural and mineral resources. It is referred as dark continent. Getting the points clear? And Africa has lot of resources which are highly unexploited. And China is trying to exploit them. Similarly, all the other countries were following the war of succession and colonialism. Got the point, Sarfaraz? Now, yes, Aisha, I'll repeat the Third Anglo-Carnatic War. Now, so listen to me. Now, Robert Clive was very angry with the steps that were like because it was a shame for him because he lost in the first Carnatic War, he lost in the second Carnatic War. So it was a matter of shame for him. So Robert Clive and Colonel Watson captured the region of Chandan which was a territory of French. Now, French, what we say, asked another officer to come and intervene, and he was Comte de Lally. Comte de Lally was a very able officer, and he loved military pomp. So, to overcome this person, Comte de Lally, Britishers called another person whose name was Eyrecourt. So, in very simple language, English East India Company was represented by Commander-in-Chief Eyrecourt, and French East India Company was represented by a Commander-in-Chief Comte de Lally. Got the points clear? And there was a fierce battle fought between them, which is referred as Battle of Vandy Wash. And in this, basically, French lost all their territories. And finally, Pondicherry was given to the French. And finally, they settled themselves in the Pondicherry. This is all about Third Anglo-Carnatic War. Hope so the points are clear, my friends. Getting the points clear? Now please go through the causes of failure of French. Now listen to me. Now the trade that was carried on by English was far more greater than the French company. Now you can imagine that English East India Company almost, or British almost ruled over India for 200 to 250 years. Isn't that so? So basically, they traded in India since the ancient times, or basically you can say that since the medieval times they were trading with India, and French East India Company was the last to be formed. So their trade was not that greater in comparison to the Britain. Secondly, British company was a private enterprise and French company was more or less of a government department. And you can understand the corruption that is prevalent in the government department. Getting the points clear? Private enterprise focuses more on the quality and the what we say increasing the profit margin. And the government basically focuses on rudimentary and traditional things. Getting the points clear? There is more of red tapeism that is practiced in the government department. Are you getting the points clear? So basically, corruption was more in the French English East India Company. Then, Britain, since the ancient time, was known for the naval supremacy. Britain, like when we are going to learn about the world history, we are going to learn one more thing. Britain conquered the entire, it's just a small country, but still, it had colonized more than 20 to 25% of the world. Why? Because it had a very strong navy. Getting the points clear? So Britishers had a good edge in the form of naval supremacy. Hope so the points are clear. Then it is said that Dupleix was one of the most courageous governor. He was a very visionary leader. But when the French recalled Dupleix, he was not succeeded by the other good rulers or the other good governors because they lacked any foresight. They lacked some vision. Getting the points there, and they lacked the ability to govern. So these were the major causes for failure of France in India. Hope so the points are clear, my friends. Did you understand the governor generals, my friend? Did you understand the entire topic of governor generals? I have covered this part in the three series, part 1, part 2 and part 3. Did you understand this? Tomorrow I would be conducting development of education and press in India, a small lecture on that during the British rule. Yes, please let me know. Did you understand this, my friends? Okay. So, tomorrow at the same time at 7 o'clock. Yes, hi Atharv. Tomorrow at the same time, getting the points clear, at 7 o'clock. We are going to start with another important topic, that is development of education during the British rule. Okay. Please revise all the governor generals because in the coming days I am going to conduct a small test on the governor generals, which are very, very important from the exam perspective. Yes, Satya. Like various policies that were adopted by the Britain were not adopted by the French. Getting the points clear. So, because of the lack of these policies, they could not grow up properly in India. Hope so the points are clear, Satya. Okay. Now, so tomorrow I'll be starting with a new topic. If you like my lectures, please subscribe to Unacademy and use my code AKOUS. I repeat the code AKOUS. Thank you and have a very nice day.